AM 970 WSTX.
This morning, we have Mr. Richard Dorsey here with us to talk about the great things happening down at St. Joseph High School from a technology perspective and some of the things that the church and community are doing in partnership for our community and for the support of our young people in the process. Okay? Mr. Dorsey, introduce yourself, greet the people them, and there we go.
Good morning once again. My name is Richard Dorsey. I'm the Director of Institutional Advancement for Catholic Schools in the Virgin Islands, and right now I'm representing St. Joseph. Thank you, Mr. Canton and Cicely, for having me in this morning. Excuse me, I'm fighting off something. You can hear it in me.
Keep it over there.
It's okay.
Keep it over there.
I got some lime, some honey, and bush tea waiting for me, so.
I got plenty aloes going around my face, and I could donate some.
Okay, thank you. So I will definitely be strong enough to continue. But like you said, we're trying to do something different here. And before I kind of explain what we're doing, I want to give the people of the Virgin Islands a little, like a basis to start off from. I might be showing my age because I wasn't around during these times, but for those that are a little bit my senior, they remembered what Hovensa did back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s in terms of what it meant for employment for young people. There were times where you could have graduated from Central and go to Hovensa and make a decent living. Correct, Mr. Canton?
That's right.
Okay, then. What we're doing here is similar but very different. We've created an IT academy within the Catholic school system so that our students graduate with, we started out with 5 certifications, then we grew to 7 certifications, and now we're up to 8 certifications. And what that does is allow our students to graduate and make at minimum $77,000 with a maximum of $100,000 just for IT certifications. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a couple little things, but for you, I'd like you to go on to our Facebook page, if possible, Catholic Schools of the Virgin Islands, or better yet, our website, www.catholicschool.vi.
Which one you want?
I want you to go on the website because we're going to go over some of the IT information, and the listening audience, those that are internet savvy and are willing to join us in a little live discussion. You can also visit our website at www.catholicschool.vi. We use a .vi, not a .com, because we're based in the Virgin Islands. And you will see our brand new website, 4 schools, 1 mission, academic excellence. Okay. And as we get a little bit loaded, I'm going to...
Okay, you keep going while...
All right. So I'm going to direct... You're going to get to the St. Joseph page when you get there. www.catholicschool, singular, not plural, .vi. Now, while you and your listening audience start to load that up, I'm going to continue with a little teaser of what we're doing here. Okay. So St. Joseph Catholic High School offers science, technology, engineering, and math courses as we know them in the education field as STEM. Okay. Our courses will be offering as well as cybersecurity courses utilizing the Cisco Networking Academy curriculum. Basically what this is, the Cisco Certified Network Associate, which is one of the certifications they're going to be getting, the CCNA, is a curriculum that helps students prepare for any entry-level career opportunities, future education goals, and achieving the globally recognized CCNA certification. What this does is it allows our students to walk into the IT field and basically start at entry level. Now, if they continue through the program, they're going to be afforded an opportunity to either rise in their educational goals and seek more opportunities so they can jump into a college and get advanced degrees in some of their IT training, or they can jump straight into the workforce. So I see you're with us. If you can go on the St. Joseph link, for those, once again, we're on www.catholicschool.vi. And if you just hover over the St. Joseph, you should see the Information Technology Academy, and that's where we want to click. And now you can follow me in real time. So what we were talking about, the original certifications, our first certification, as you'll see there, is our NCCER. And why that's so important to us here in the Virgin Islands, because that's construction. That's basic construction. And what the NCCER stands for, and excuse me if I get a little wrong, it's the National Certification, Construction, Education, and Research Certification. And that basically allows you, our students, they are taught the basics of safety and rigging as it pertains to construction. and it introduces them to the hand tools, power tools, material handling, and construction drawing. So this is the basis that most companies want to see, that young people come with at least the basic knowledge of what construction entails. Beyond that, we move on to CompTIA. Now we're getting in more to the IT field. And that's a certification verifying the skills and knowledge needed in building and managing and protecting critical assets such as data networks, network systems. From that, we go into CompTIA security. As your listening audience and yourself might be very aware, cyber threat is real. Many businesses and institutions often have to, guard themselves against invaders seeking information, financial information. I believe last year, I think one of our banks locally was affected with some, I would say, some bad.
Some hackers.
Some hackers, exactly. Well, one of the courses and certifications that we're going to give students is in CompTIA security, which is it designates knowledgeable professionals in the field of cybersecurity, one of the fastest growing in IT. So our students graduating out of high school will be able to defend local and mainland networks once they complete this training. So, Mr. Canton, you might want to jump in at any time because I have 4 more certifications to go, and we even didn't start with the IT juniors. Okay.
We on a roll here, and it's what's important, folks, is that you have this website with all of this information that we're talking about. So we're not expecting you to take in everything and digest everything in this half an hour, 45 minutes, hour that we're here. What we're saying is you have access to follow up and to be able to contact him or otherwise to make sure that if maybe you have a child you want to go to the St. Joseph School and for purposes of having access to this program or whatever, that you know where to turn. But no, you keep right on going because we've got time and they've got the website.
Wonderful. So I'm just going to continue on some of the certifications. And once again, this is a certification. Right now I would say in the employment field, certification and degrees running neck and neck in terms of proving qualifications for the competency of an employee. So you might have a degree in one of the many degrees many colleges offer, but once you're certified in something, that's, in my personal opinion, a little bit stronger than a degree because you might be able to sleep through a couple final exams here and there, but a certification guarantees that you are hands-on ready with this knowledge. So you can jump straight into the workforce and begin working, not waiting for the company or the organization to kind of brief you on how you should be doing your job.
Well,
jump straight in.
Let me throw a little spin on that, right? The fact of the matter is, if you have a degree and you have a certification, you have double power.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Because very often, as we know, our young people go to school and they get a degree, but the job market may not be ready for that.
Exactly.
But if you have certification, the job market is always ready.
Because it clearly states you are experienced.
Not only that, but the need for certified people is much greater than the availability. All right. When I in undergrad, I did a stint at WCSU. All right, with, way back when, and I learned something. I learned about National Public Radio and so forth, and it gave me insights. But I had a skill, separate and apart from my degree, that, if I didn't get a job, or in this case I went into military, but I could have gone right down the road to Dayton and gone into any radio station and go to work. And in the same here now with certification, it's much stronger than that. You're practically guaranteed.
Yes, you are.
Opportunities because there's greater need than there is availability.
Now, speaking about the opportunities, I'll double back to some of the certifications. And as Mr. Canton said, the breadth and width of this information is online, so you don't have to digest everything. But what we're offering students are not only just a job, it's a career path. So you're seeing that our students are able to jump in career fields like information security, network and cloud technologies, hardware services and infrastructure, IT management and strategies, storage and data, as people in, we know about big data and big storage, Facebook, all these massive online organizations. They're storing massive amounts of data, which helps in terms of health, economy, social and civil planning. So our students can jump into that field as well. Of course, there's web and mobile. There's IT training. They can become the future teachers. And there's always software development. Now, for those that are a little bit more, need more specificity, what actually can you do? You can become a network administrator. That's one of the jobs available within this ability to educate yourself as an IT certified individual. You can be a network administrator. You can be a network technician. You can be a network installer. You can be a help desk technician. You can be an IT cable installer. And I'll double back to why that's so relevant, given that VINGN did so much massive work laying down fiber and cable and connecting the Virgin Islands even more thoroughly. You can be a cybersecurity engineer. You can be a cybersecurity consultant. You can be an IA technician, which is an information assurance technician. Or you can be an information assurance manager. So these are all vitally needed positions within our growing economy. Whether you're doing agriculture, whether you're doing finance, whether you're doing health insurance, you could be selling the rubber, the eraser tips for pencils. Your company is going to need an IT guy to manage the factory, the units. You're going to need someone running the databases for all your internal systems and softwares. You're going to need someone managing all that data, whether it's sensitive financials, whether it's sensitive personnel records, whether it's employee records, health records. That's all IT.
And all your coding and assurance information.
Now, I know I've kind of inundated everybody with a bunch of information, but that's just the 9th through 12th grade courses that we're offering at St. Joseph. Now, Mr. Canton, if you're ready for a more, we're actually developing an IT junior academy for our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders so that they're able to walk into the high schools even more equipped to take advantage of these career paths. And as I see Mr. Canton scrolling, these are doorways into more extensive careers. So you start here and you can end up at the furthest end of your certification, of your degree. You could become a PhD in these information fields. You know, you can be a senior level executive, technician, IT manager, but it can all start here in the Virgin Islands.
All right. Well, it is going on here in the Virgin Islands. And let's address something here that you just talked about, which is that from 9 to 12, you've got people taking training that basically makes them job ready for the job that exists.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, you train into the jobs that exist.
And speaking about those jobs, what we've done is we've partnered with certain businesses in the Virgin Islands.
Come into that.
Okay, well, we'll save that one for them.
Come into that one. Come into that one. Okay. But more important, as you shift the exposure down to junior high, 'cause that's basically what you're doing, you're having folks coming in with part of the learning curve removed so that they will be able to advance faster and possibly further than somebody who's being exposed at that level for the first time at 9th grade.
Exactly.
Okay? And I just thought an example. I worked with some 5th and 6th graders last year in terms of video production, video editing, chroma screen operations, and stuff like that. And they're ready. Now, by the time they get to high school, they're ready for an internship at a TV station, at a video production company, whatever the case may be. They're ready. And this is what we have to think about now. The challenges for some schools is that you have to have the teaching base ready for what these kids are capable of doing. Mm-hmm. And what has been happening in some of our schools is that, in fact, the teachers weren't ready, so the students became idle, problematic, whatever the case may be. Now, what you're doing here is going straight to where their interests lie. They love movies, they love computers, they love tinkering, and you're going straight to the core. So they're not going to be there drifting off here, there, and everywhere. And then all you got to do is show them the link to how what you're doing here contributed to making an Xbox or a PlayStation, and all of a sudden you got them. It's like, wow, this is how you do it. I want to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay? So definitely it's really important that not only we establish it at that level, but that you go down to that junior high level and definitely start building the foundation in preparation for that. Now, I've been talking about this over the past couple of months. This meaning training to the jobs, right? If you want to be a teacher, you want to be a fireman, that's fine. I have no problem with that, okay? But don't have any illusions in terms of what it is you're training to, because there's a need for teachers, there's a need for policemen, there's a need for firemen, there's a need there. But they only have but so many slots for that. And then if you train to be a social worker, and there's no social worker job available, but you also tried a thing and got your certification, then all of a sudden you find yourself working in an interesting area while you continue to mine the field to become to get a slot as a social worker. So your skill works with you whether you're working directly in a particular field that you prefer or as the stand-in. Okay? Like I tell people, if I had to go flip burgers at McDonald's in terms of feeding a family or paying for school or whatever, that's what you do. It's like another skill, because maybe cooking is or customer service. But if you could do something that has a higher dollar per hour and less hours to fund your education, then obviously that's where you want to go.
Exactly.
So this is a great example. I call it proof of process, that hopefully we will see other schools jumping onto, okay? Because the bottom line is we've got math, okay, we've got English, we've got science, and those are the core. And they'll be what we call literate. But if you want them to be able to seize the opportunities, we've got to train to the jobs. Okay. Now, before you jump into anything, you had started to talk about businesses involved. I had that question in the back of my mind because I know that in this case, St. Joseph, does not have teachers in every one of these areas, not even half of these areas directly, simply because the nature of technology and its development, we have to look to the private sector for training resources and hands-on experience and a way to give these young people a vision of what it really means. So tell me how you harness the private sector and what you're doing.
Okay, so basically this process started last year, around the time of April and May, and we were planning to launch this for 2015-2016, the current academic year. We instantly said, okay, we need to identify members in our business and in our business community that can take advantage of the labor force that we're training. First one that came to mind was Innovative, our major telecommunications provider in the Virgin Islands for years. They've partnered with us. They're offering internship opportunities for our students. So our students are going to be able, whether winter or summer, get hands-on internships while they're still in school learning the certifications. They've also offered employment opportunities post-graduation for our students within their organization. We have Broadband VI, which has connected with us and has brought our internet capabilities beyond. We now boast 100 megabytes of speed at St. Joseph.
Oh, wow.
I dare say we're probably the fastest. We have the fastest internet speed of any school in the Virgin Islands. Okay, so we have Broadband VI. They've helped us to increase our internet capabilities, which also allows us to fully utilize the technologies in the courses, because our students are doing a lot of online work. They're collaborating with their professors in real time online, so that bandwidth helps our students to really access that information and do the work without delay, or, as we know in the Virgin Islands, are very typically slow internet that, recently over the last 5 years, customers, residents, we've seen a little bit of an uptick in terms of our speed, but at St. Joseph, we're flying. So Broadband VI has given us access to a wealth of internet capabilities. Innovative has offered volunteer opportunities. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather. Internship opportunities and employment post-graduation. We also have the Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority, and that's because IT is not always behind a computer. I want us to understand IT is a very pervasive industry. It's in everything now, So with waste management, our students get, once again, internship opportunities to see how IT works in real world settings as it relates to the information systems for waste management, their equipment, how they manage their data and networks. We also had our Virgin Islands Next Generation Network, which has opened up this opportunity for so many students. They have given our students not only internship opportunities, winter and summer, they have also provided access to a consortium of HBCUs that will allow our students to graduate within 3 years of a 4-year degree, because our IT courses basically advance them to the sophomore level in college once they graduate and complete out of St. Joseph. So Virgin Islands Next Generation Network has given us an opportunity to have internship opportunities, a consortium of HBCUs for advanced education, and 2 levels of employment. If you graduate out of St. Joseph with our certifications, VINGN will take a few of our students and put them straight to work. If you continue with your education and then come back, they'll give you an advanced placement in employment. So say you went in as an IT technician straight out of high school, or you chose to go and get another 4 years. In actuality, you're only going to take 3. You come back and you would get an advanced employment position. And that's just the beginning of this program.
All right. Well, that's how you do it. It's growing from within, training to the jobs, training to the better jobs.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and I wanted to also we touched bases a little bit. We're bringing this to the 7th and the 8th graders because, as you know, the average toddler right now could pick up an iPhone and probably maneuver it better than a senior citizen.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. One of the fastest growing areas
Is 40s to 60s.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yes,
40s to 60s. They're actually on Facebook more than young people.
Yeah.
Young people have shifted to Twitter and
So
other
Twitter
things.
and everything they
Facebook
say
is 40 to
Facebook too
60s.
old now, you know.
But going back
Conservative group.
going back to our 7th and 8th graders, we're going to be giving them 3 courses. We're going to give them CompTIA A+, which is like a starter course in everything IT. They're going to get an entrepreneurship course, so they understand what it means to have the ability to start your own businesses, start your own companies, or just be progressive in this field. And the cherry on the cake is Android application engineering, or as we like to say, app development, app technicians, and app creation. Our students are going to have, junior high students are going to have the ability to develop, design, engineer, fine-tune apps, which is everything we use now.
Oh yeah. Well, that is the way computers were before. As the thing to get into, apps is the thing to get into in terms of opening up opportunities, as well as all of these other areas of training. Every one of them, somewhere along the line, apps are related. Okay, and it's so funny. I was talking last week about an app called CrowdSave. Basically, what it is the AED, the defibrillators, that you go to that app and you can see the locations around where you are, that there's a defibrillator. Something as simple but important as that. Somebody sat down and came up with the idea and coded it and did it. And for all you know, it could have been a high school student. It could have been a senior citizen, because it's a brand new field that anybody can get into. There are no barriers.
None
No
whatsoever.
barriers. And so we need to not be putting barriers on ourselves, okay? Now, I'm going to say this, when you go on some campuses, the internet access is locked down as to what you can access and so forth and so on. So like, for instance, YouTube is locked down. You can't get on YouTube, let's say, on this campus, right? And the fact of the matter is, anything you need to learn how to do,
It's on YouTube.
it's on YouTube. So it's like a kind of a contradiction. But the joke of it is that, right, when you walk on a campus and you have your own phone, you have your own connection to the internet, you could lock down this all you want to. I can go where I want to go. So instead of focusing on the negative, how to stop this, how to stop that, we need to focus on the positive, how to make this available, that available, and make these interesting things so available that really you're not going to have time or interest in some of these other things that they're supposedly trying to keep us away from. And so the problem here is when the system is more focused on trying to stop something from happening. We need to focus more on starting things, like
Yes.
the things that you're starting here. And that's where I really commend where the Catholic schools are headed in this direction. And in that context, public schools, you want to come and talk? Hey, my door is wide open. You got your equivalents? Fine. If not, we got proof of the process here. Watch and learn.
Exactly.
Okay? And execute.
Exactly.
I don't want you just to execute.
And for the community, one of our first things that we're going to do is this May we're planning an IT showcase where basically we're going to open up what IT means in the Virgin Islands to the community. We're going to ask our partners and our partners to come in and showcase their technologies and demo their projects as it relates to IT. Our students are going to be able to showcase their IT skills. So we're planning for that around May or June, the ending of the academic year. And it'll be a public event so everyone can come in and see how we're developing IT education in the Virgin Islands.
Well, one of the things that I was involved with was the WAPA Scholarship for Engineers. And one of the things that's helpful in when you're thinking about engineering is taking physics. And the reality is that there aren't enough physics teachers to go around. So one of the problems we found is that a lot of the private sector schools didn't have a physics teacher. And one of the things that I saw was going on was a partnership between the private sector schools and the public schools in terms of being able to take physics, let's say, at the public school. And in that context and what you're doing, I'm hoping that we could see some collaboration down the road between the public schools and the private schools that are doing things like this to figure out how we don't reinvent the wheel and how we can support the same process. Because this is something that can grow. It won't take away from one or the other. It's going to grow. And the more young people, the more we have in continuing education. Because, we have folks going for the GED. Well, it'd be great if you go for your GED and have an opportunity to learn these kind of things, because we're not just interested in you getting a degree. We're interested in opening up doors to jobs that pay on a level more than just minimum wage wherever possible. Okay? So it's one of those things, and I want to make it clear. I'm not talking about there being a class system of what job you have. The more money you can make in terms of supporting your family and your needs, the better. Okay? But it's just like when I get out there with Christian State Community Alliance and we clean up the place, we ain't getting paid. But I'm doing what somebody gets paid minimum wage to do, but we're not getting paid. So there's no class thing going on here. As far as to say this job is better than that job, it's more money is better than less money in terms of taking care of your family, your children's education, whatever is going on. And anything we can do, especially in this case, when to me it's a no-brainer.
Exactly. and one of the things from my personal experiences in the Virgin Islands, especially coming from a retail perspective, we like to say we're always behind the times 5 and 10 years. We're ahead of the curve. This Cisco Networking Academy is a global initiative by the Cisco Networks. So we're now going to be able to be on a global scale. So you're not going to have to worry about the little kid in India who's learning IT better than the kid in Indiana. The Virgin Islands is on that same level with the kid in India, the kid in Russia, the kid in Asia, the kid in Japan. Our students will be on that same level with them.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I have this little dream, if you want to call it a little dream, okay? That, and I'm going to use the example from the advertisement for VINGN. I look forward to the time when our schools in St. Croix and our schools in St. Thomas can schedule certain classes jointly via teleconference. So all of a sudden, St. Croix students can meet St. Thomas students and the teacher over there, but what they learn in Spanish. I use that as an example. Or history or whatever, because all of a sudden, we're saying that this technology that we got this $70 million from the feds to put in place, meaning VINGN, and all the bandwidth that it brings and everything, then we're putting it to use in a practical way. And I say that for you, if in St. Thomas you have a partner school that you're working with in St. Thomas, but it just so happens that the private sector resource is here on St. Croix, all of a sudden it don't matter if it's St. Thomas or St. Croix. You're training students in the VI, regardless of which island that they're on. And that's where I want to see it get to. Because right now, we have a situation where some of our VINGN centers are only open limited hours, and then in terms of having somebody there that can teach, operate, monitor, and so forth and so on, they don't have these guys. And I said, Governor, you listening? Hey, figure out where you could find some money for so we could get some staff in at these places,
Make it
because
24
that
hours,
would
man.
that would be great. That would be great. We're talking about the youth is our future. Well, let's make them our priority for a better future. Okay? And that's just one of the small areas, but I want to see more of that happening. What you're doing is great. I'm kind of just talking about taking it to another level. That's all.
Well, we're within our own organization. We're trying to replicate that same mentality. So we're in talks of developing the same program for Saints Peter and Paul in St. Thomas. So they'll have the 7 through 12 component because they're K through 12. So their students will be completely immersed. So if you're a Saints Peter and Paul student, we're coming next year. We're going to be able to launch it, and it's going to be amazing.
Fantastic. And you're doing, like I said, the video conferencing, and you think about it now. Imagine the Spanish teacher in St. Thomas get a flu. Before, it used to be, well, okay, go to study hall, this, that, and the other, study something, use up the time or whatever. No, no. We got you covered. Come on, let's hook up between St. Croix and St. Thomas. Class going forward, teaching getting done, learning getting done. All right?
Brain drain.
Yeah, so I'm saying these things. I'm just hoping that some of those folks out there listening and saying, like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Because it's kind of like having a car that works, but yeah, we walk into Frederickston.
Yes.
Don't make no sense.
We still taking the donkey cart.
You know,
and we got a Porsche right outside.
No, man, they ain't even taking a donkey cart. They walk in.
Oh, God.
I always joke about this, but it's real. Not everybody, just because technology is all around them, is open to it. A lot of people are intimidated, in that context, and things that you take for granted that everybody understand. And I'm saying, like, once upon a time a microwave was put in a house and everybody else knew how to use it except the person who lived in the house. And then all of a sudden we start hearing these sparks and can they put a metal pot inside the microwave, right? Well, after that one mistake, they learned, and from that point on they could use the microwave like a master. And the reality is that they have a person who owns a Mercedes, and they tie a rope around the bumper, pulling it around, and they're over the shoulder, pulling the car around, saying, say, hey man, I own a Mercedes. Wait. The idea is for you to drive the car. And then this technology allows us to drive the car, drive the plane, drive the rocket. All right, so we just have to gear up our minds. The challenge is the adults, In your case, you've gotten your people all the way up to the bishop. On board, okay? You got everybody on board, and the challenge is getting people on board, because sometimes they're intimidated. But once you have it coming down from the top like that, and there's support from the bottom going up, it's going to happen. So I really commend you all on what you're doing there, and I hope that it's contagious. I hope that everyone who's listening is saying, yeah, I want my school to be doing that too, because eventually that's how we're going to become a great statistic in America. One of the statistics that we talk about is the per capita of our service in the military. Well, I want it to be the per capita of our contribution to technology in the United States and worldwide to be the highest for such a small place. That's what we need to get to.
And I think we're going to be there. Sometimes individuals will look for tomorrow, I think 5 years ahead. And being that my roots were in just local businesses, I can see that the change and the transition in not only the business, but how we operate businesses. More young people are going to come and start their own small businesses. Yes, they might have a brick and mortar, but young people are a little bit clever. We'll have an online brick and mortar. We'll develop an app now. So we won't have to have that big expense of rent and electricity and such. And we'll still be able to get the products and services made in the Virgin Islands globally distributed, globally renowned. And that's where I think our real wealth will come, is not just in educating young people to go out and be geniuses and collaborators with the world, which we've been producing for years, but to start developing our own local the flashlight showing people the local talent, the local products, the local service with the high-end technology, which is appealing.
Okay, all right. Well, it's really inspiring talking with you about these things. Now, what I would like you to do, and as an invitation, at some point in time, some of your students at the most advanced stages of your program, if we could do some interviews with those young people, and we don't have to do it in a studio, so that we could have the presence of St. Joseph talking about the program from a student perspective that we could bring to the studio.
Wonderful. Well,
Okay.
our 9th and 10th grade courses are underway,
Okay.
so we can definitely showcase that because you have to go through the process. Some of the more advanced courses won't be able to be showcased until 2017, 2018 as the students progress through the
Right, but
but our
not so
9th and 10th, we're ready for you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they are experiencing it.
Yes, currently.
So what I want to get is the benefit of their expressions of what it is that they're going through.
Wonderful.
Okay, in that context. So so let's think maybe around March, because by then things will be advanced enough to a point that they'll be able to talk about their experience.
Yes.
Since it's getting closer to the end of the year. So keep me in mind for around March, and we could do maybe eight or so 5-minute, 7-minute interviews so that they can talk about their experience, however it works. So whether it's 8, 6, or however many, but then we can put together in a program and we can bring it here.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you.
share it with the public.
Thank
Okay,
you.
most definitely. All right, good. See, man. Stick with WSTX, okay? The community-minded station.
Always.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you
Canton.
for coming in.
Cicely. Once again, people of Virgin Islands, this has been Mr. Dorsey, representing Catholic School and the many hats, asking you to support Catholic schools. We've been here for 150 years, and I think we'll be around for another half.
All right. Sounds like a plan.